I started and quit 26 different side hustles before my 45th birthday. Some were dumb, some made a little bit of money, but none of them gave me the life that I wanted. So in this video, I'm sharing the 7 biggest lessons I learned the hard way so that you don't have to waste the next 10 years like I did. I'm also going to share with you in this video the 27th attempt that actually worked and the one that I'm working on right now. So let's get into the hard lessons that I learned over about a 10 to 15 year period of me attempting to get out of my 9 to 5 job. I was 25 years in corporate sales. I was working for the same company for 17 years, flying all over the place. Like I had a high demand job and I wanted out. And these lessons are not ranked. I'm just giving them to you in the order that I wrote them down. And the first one is you're not lazy. You're just overwhelmed. I thought that I had a motivation problem, but I really had a focus problem. And if you think about the way that the world is set up, there's so many different distractions and shiny objects. And that was really one of the things that really led to my downfall. I fell easy prey to looking at shiny objects. If I was involved in a side hustle like trading stocks or drop shipping and something else came across my feed, like a blog or Amazon FBA or whatever it was, whatever the side hustle flavor of the month was, I was easily distracted and I moved over to that other side hustle, or at least I looked at it and I researched it and I watched a bunch of videos, and maybe I bought a course or maybe I bought a PDF. And then all of a sudden, the 2 or 3 things that I was working on prior to that just fell by the wayside. And then I was on to something new and I was never able to gain any traction because I simply was not able to focus on one thing. And in a lot of cases, I couldn't even focus for more than a month. Like if I could get to 3 months, like that was a long time for me to attempt something. And this is the thing that we really have to correct is when we're thinking about our business, we have to be committed for a much longer period of time. If you think about it logically, where you are right now in your life, in your 9 to 5, if you have a job, what you're earning, like that didn't take 30 days. That didn't take 90 days. It took years. If you got a degree out of high school, and you had to work, like you're talking 25 years to get to where you are right now, minimum, to get to the salary that you're at right now. And the distraction is, and the trap is that we think we can replace that in 90 days, working a third of the time. And it doesn't work that way. We have to make sure that we have a realistic timeline and realistic expectations, and we're able to focus on one thing at the same time and not allow these other shiny objects to derail us. It will absolutely kill you. And I promise you, it cost me years doing that. If I would have just stuck with one of those 26 side hustles that I gave up on, or I failed, or I quit, I'd have everything that I want right now, more than likely. I might not be doing that same business, but I certainly would have everything that I thought about at that particular time in my life. Number 2 is you don't need to learn a brand new skill. You need to use the ones that you already have. This is such a huge mistake that I made and that I see a lot of people make, which is they think that they need to go out and learn a brand new skill. They literally ignore what's right under their nose. And what I help people with is for them to understand that you're already getting paid for your skills. If you're in a 9 to 5 job and you've been there for any extended period of time, like your boss is a paying customer. I just want you to think about that. Your boss is a paying customer. They are paying you for your skills. They are validating you. They are telling you that, hey, we think you're good at this to the point where we're going to pay you, and we're going to pay you for a long period of time. And I want you to think about this from another level too, is from a competition standpoint, you're likely not the only person that applied for your job. So you won the job. And if you got promoted, that's further validation. Like they had options, they picked you, they chose you. And yet when it comes time to look at a business that you could start, you ignore right what's under your nose and you go look at something that you have no idea how to do. And you figure, well, I'll just go learn how to do that. I'll go learn how to do real estate, or I'll go learn how to buy a business, or I'll go learn how to do drop shipping. And you have no idea how to do that. And you're competing against people that know how to do that. You already know how to do something. Monetize your existing skill set first. It takes less time to launch. And then you just have to learn business. You have to learn how to launch your business, transfer your skills to the online world. That is less time consuming and much easier than you having to spend weeks learning something, or sometimes months learning something new. You're not going to learn the real estate business overnight. You're not going to learn drop shipping overnight if you have zero experience with it. But the experience that you have, that you've been working on in some cases 10, 15, 20, 30 years or longer, you already know how to do that. So doesn't it make sense to think about monetizing those existing skills, or a life transformation that you went through? If you lost weight, if you got out of debt, if you were able to overcome something in your life and you could help other people with that, or if you're just good at something outside of your 9 to 5 that people are asking you for help with, like those are the things that we need to look at. And that was the error that I made, is I looked at all these other things that I had no idea about, yet I was great at sales, 25-year salesperson, and I never looked at helping other people with sales. It wasn't until I got into the real estate business and I started doing cold calls again, because I've been doing cold calls my entire career, that I realized, oh, this is something that I'm good at and I can help other people do it. And I did. I created lead magnets. I coached people. I helped other businesses with their sales. And now I am of the mindset that I already know how to do stuff. I don't need to learn a brand new set of skills. I can teach, or I can help other businesses with the stuff that I already know how to do. So I want you to understand that that's something that you can absolutely do. And if you want help with that, I'll leave a free resource in the description. It's called the Skill to Business Formula. It has over 7,000 downloads. It's free. It works. It will help you in under 15 minutes come up with ideas based on what you already know how to do. So grab that. It's very, very helpful. Okay, the third lesson is don't build something before you sell it. I made this mistake so many times, it hurts. I've created courses, mini courses, PDFs, just based on an idea that I had. And then I put all this time and effort and energy creating the thing, building the landing pages, building the website, building the email automation, like all the stuff. I mean, hours I would spend doing this. And then I would go launch it and nobody would buy it. Nobody would buy it. I'm beating my head against the wall trying to advertise this thing and be all over social media, and nobody purchased it. And that was because nobody wanted it and nobody said they wanted it. And I never asked people, I never took the time to ask people if this was something that they would actually want. I just made it and hoped that people would buy it. That was the strategy. I'm going to make this. I think it's a good idea and I hope people will buy it, versus, hey, I'm thinking about making this thing. Is this something you would be interested in? Which follows my entire build it backwards system right now, which is to build an audience first. So as an example, if I were to go back and start helping people with cold calling, specifically cold calling, because I would want to do something specific, and then even more specific to that, like I would go to maybe real estate investors who are trying to call sellers and get on call number one, like they're having a problem with call number one. I'd help them with that. Now I could help them with more than that, but that is like the first thing. And I could create something that says, hey, if you're having a problem getting on the phone, you got call reluctance and you don't know what to say, I put something together that helps solve that problem. That's something that you would be interested in, or you would be really, really good on the phone 90 days later. Is that something you would be interested in? Versus making it and then saying, here it is, buy it. That is a much better approach, because then if you get enough people to validate it, then you can make it. And then you could say, hey, remember that thing that you said you were interested in? Well, I have it. Here it is. It's $17, it's $27, or it's free, it's a lead magnet. I'm saying then you validated it because you asked people, and you asked people that actually are in that particular market. and they're looking to do the thing that you're trying to help them with. You don't go ask your mom or somebody else who has no idea about the business to validate it. You ask the actual end user of the thing what they think, whether or not it's a good idea. Don't make the mistake of asking people that have no idea about business. They'll never run a business. You're looking for validation in the wrong spot. If you think it's a good idea, great. You solved a problem for yourself, great. Go out and ask others who are having that same problem. And usually they live within your network or they know people that would be a candidate for your solution. Ask them. You only need like 3 to 5 people to say yes, and then I would make it. And that's the way I do everything now. I build an audience, I ask them what they want, I make it for them, and I charge them money. And if you do that, you're almost guaranteed to get sales every single time versus creating a bunch of stuff and then hoping that people buy it. Lesson number 4 is to start small, prove it works, then improve it. And what I mean by that is I used to think that I had to scale before my business even got started. Like I was literally developing my entire retirement business from day one, and I hadn't even taken step 1. And that can get very overwhelming for a lot of people. When you look at these big, large businesses that you build in your head, it can get away from you very, very quickly, especially now if you're using AI, if you're using tools like ChatGPT, where it's helping you build the entire business. When all you need to do is think about one person, one specific person who has one specific problem, and help them solve that one problem. From there, you can scale it. Think about making your first $100 online. That will give you so much confidence. Like again, I was swinging for the fences, which isn't bad, but when it didn't happen, I would get derailed and I would move to the next thing. I would move to the next side hustle. So if you can start with a smaller dollar amount, like $100, like we can all earn $100 online. If we take that approach, one specific person, one specific problem, and then one very simple solution that they're searching for. And it can be a $17 PDF. It can be a $27 course. It can be a $100 course. It can be phone calls. It can be a community. It can be a coaching program. But you're starting very, very small and you're helping people with one thing. You don't have to provide the entire solution, and you get that feedback and you get that data, and then you can find out additional problems that they would have that you could also help them with. So start small, get that validation, get that proof, prove it to yourself. Like, hey, I can do this. I can make $100 online. Look, you're making money in your life. You're making money every day in your job, in your 9 to 5. There's no reason you can't do it online. It's just a different environment and it's a different set of rules, but your skills are exactly the same. It's just in a different environment. And I promise you that it is not as hard as you think. I'm not saying that it's easy. I don't do that. I never say that business is easy. If it were, you would not be listening to me right now, but it's definitely not as hard as you think. Lesson number 5, and I never believed this, and a lot of people won't believe this now, but the business isn't the goal. Your life is. This is one of the reasons why I gave up and I quit and I never gave any traction, is because I led with the wrong intentions. The only thing that mattered to me was replacing my salary. I had a high travel job. I had a good income. I had a multiple 6-figure income, and that's not really relevant, but I had a good income. It doesn't matter. Like if you're making $50,000 a year, you can still commit this mistake, which is you want out of your situation so bad that you are looking for anything that will replace that income because you think that whatever I do, getting out of this situation will be better. And I am living proof that that is not true. I started a real estate business. That was the first side hustle, number 27, that actually worked. And I didn't follow my rules. Like I still was looking at stuff I didn't know a lot about. I had been studying real estate for years. And the reason that this one worked, 27 versus the other failed 26, was because I did a few things differently. Number one, I worked on me. I took ownership of my life. Like, hey, the reason these side hustles failed was because I was doing it wrong. I had a big ego. I wasn't committed. I wasn't focused. So I got around people who could help me. I'm like, I need help. I can't do this on my own. So I hired a coach, I joined a mastermind, and the biggest thing that I did working on my mindset, that was important too, was I eliminated all the other options, all the other distractions. I'm like, I'm going to do this and this only. And sure enough, adding those little tweaks in, 9 months later, I left my corporate job after trying for 10 plus years with these dead end side hustles and my screwed up mindset. I couldn't get out of my own way. 9 months. In 18 months, I almost tripled my income in 18 months. I never thought that that was even possible. I just wanted to get off airplanes because I was missing my young son grow up. I was gone every other week on airplanes, 100,000 miles a year. And I just simply said to myself, I'm like, I'm not going to repeat what my father did, because he worked for the same company for 45 years and was gone all the time. And I didn't see him a lot. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, my kid's going to know me. And I only got one shot to watch him grow up. And I'll be damned if I'm going to miss it, because I think that this is the only way to do it. And I have to have a 401k and I have to climb the corporate ladder. I'm like, I looked up the corporate ladder and those guys look pretty friggin' upset and not happy. And I said to myself, I'm not doing this. Like, I want to live and I want something for me and I want something better for my family. And that was the shift that I made. And that was the reason that I didn't give up, that I didn't quit. Was it easy? No, it wasn't easy, especially after all the failures that I had. But I was able to push through. And if you have something like that, if you have a reason, and it's very cliche, you have to have a reason why, but you have to have a reason not to give up. And that was my reason not to give up, even though I didn't really enjoy the real estate business. I actually didn't like it. But here's the mistake that I made, was I recreated my 9 to 5 job inside of my real estate business. That became worse than my 9 to 5. And I gave up on that too, because I had literally created a monster. And it was because I didn't look at how I wanted my life to be. I simply just wanted off those airplanes, and I wanted enough income so that I could replace my salary and live a different life. And while I was living a different life, I was saying yes to everything. So I fell back to my old ways. Real estate business, started a podcast, started doing sales, started coaching, and I started my side coaching business. Like, all of a sudden, I was just the Brian from the previous 10 years, and I had like 5 different things going on. And of course, the thing that I started with, real estate, started to suffer. I created this big ugly thing, and one day I just woke up and I'm like, I hate this business and I'm shutting it down. And it was a tough decision, but it was probably the best decision that I've made in a long time. So I started over, and then I used my rules, and I said, I am going to, number one, start with what I want my life to look like, the vision of my life, how I want my days to look, how I want my life to look 5 to 10 years from now, how I want to spend time with my family, how I want to be present as a father, as a husband, as a son, as a brother, as a friend. And I did that first. And then I designed a business that gives me the best opportunity to get to that. So vision first, know what you want your life to look like, then go build a business that gives you an opportunity to get to that. Versus, I make $100,000 per year. I just got to find something that replaces $100,000 a year. I don't care what it is, because I hate my situation. But when you don't understand that the new situation that you create can be worse than the old situation. The business isn't the goal. The life is the goal. We got to live too. Lesson number 6, you don't need everyone. All right. In some cases, you just need like the right 5 to 10 people. And what I mean by that is, when you start in business, especially if you're going to adopt my method of build it backwards and sell what you already know how to do, build a business around your existing skill set, is you can't save everyone. You don't need to save everyone. You need to find the right people who need your solution. And that takes a little bit of time and effort and energy and patience, right? You got to be patient in business, which is when you launch and you open your doors, it's like, okay, I'm open. Like, anybody with a credit card, anybody with a pulse, I'll take them. And that can really, really create a lot of stress and anxiety for you, because the best clients are the ones, especially if you're helping people with the transformation, are the ones who are more like the previous version of you and relate to you, which is why I'm such a big fan of sharing your story and telling your stories, because that's what people connect with. Like, a lot of people connect with me because of how I talk about my son. When I say that he used to tell me, I don't like it when you leave. And I kind of remember that feeling too when my dad was gone. And it was something that I said to myself, he's never saying those words to me again. Like, he's not doing that. And a lot of people connect with that because they have a similar situation, or they just appreciate that. And you sharing your story about your experiences, that's what people are going to connect with when you're talking to them. And those are the types of clients that you want. You don't want the complete polar opposite of you. You want people that are right now where you once were, because you can relate to them. Hey, I've been in your shoes. I've walked your path. I've been there. I've done that. It's much more relatable than someone who hasn't, right? Or the complete opposite. That's why I say there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be teaching or doing or involved in the business that you're thinking about, but there's only one unique you, and there's only one story just like yours, and that is ultimately what people are going to connect to, and that's one of the reasons they're going to purchase from you. And I hear it all the time, so you just got to trust me on that. It is the case. You still have to have a good offer, and you still have to have the ability to deliver on that offer. But ultimately, you're going to get their attention because you're going to say something in your content or in one of your videos or in a piece of marketing that you put out or on a landing page that speaks directly to them. Like, oh, like, yeah, I'm going through that too, or I went through that too. I get what this person is saying. Lesson number 7. This is a really good one. Failure isn't final, but quitting on yourself is. Failure isn't final, but quitting on yourself is. I quit 26 times, failed, didn't work. I pivoted, whatever you want to call, whatever words that I want to use as to why the 26 didn't work. I never gave up. I never quit on me. I wanted to. I felt like it. I felt like I was worthless. I felt like I couldn't do it. Like, this is never going to work out. And then I had that conversation with my son. He showed up, and I almost look at it like it was supposed to happen. Like, he was supposed to wake me up and tell me, hey man, you're not done yet. Don't give up. Don't quit. You can do this. And I used to always say, and a lot of you probably say this, when you look at other people who are in business, you'll say things like, hey, I'm just as capable as they are. Like, how are they doing it? They're no better than me. They're not. They're doing things that you're not doing. They just had the motivation, or they just were willing to make a bet on themselves. They were willing to block out all the noise in our own heads and all the outside noise from people that we hear. Like, you can't start a business. You can't do that. Why would you ever leave your 9 to 5? What are you, crazy? Or your parents or your family or your friends telling you, or just people in general blocking you, right? All the noise, you got to block that out. And then I got this little kid, this 5-6-year-old kid that's telling me he hates when I leave the house. And that's the voice that I chose to listen to. And then I listened to me. And I said, you know what? He's right. I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting. And as long as you don't quit, you can't lose. Like, I failed 26 times, 26 different side hustles. And it doesn't matter how many side hustles you failed on. It only has to work one time. And it'll never work one time if you don't commit, if you don't go all in, or if you don't launch, or if you don't try. I talk to so many people that are this close to launching their business. They built everything. They've done everything. They're ready to hit the go button, and they don't do it. And they let fear, or they let somebody else block them. And then they repeat the same thing again, get so close to launching, and then they don't do it. And it's sad because they want to do it and they put all that work and effort in. And if you do that enough times, you can get to the point where you just won't even start anything. And that's just a sad place to be, because if you've gotten to that point where you've gone so close to launching, like, you have what it takes. You've done the work. You just got to push through that last final brick wall. And trust me, there'll be plenty more after that, but you got to push through that last final brick wall and launch the thing. And I always look at it this way: is if I never pushed through, if I didn't start the real estate business, if I didn't shut the real estate business down and go through all of that, right, and learn all those lessons and learn all these lessons that I'm sharing with you, all the 26 failed attempts, I would not be able to be here right now. Attempt number 28, my education, my coaching business, where I'm helping people launch businesses using the skills that they already have. I would never be here being able to do this. And I just look back at everything that I've done in my life. And that would be a good exercise for you to do too. Like, why are you here? Why did all of that happen? Maybe it's because you have bigger things that are going to happen to you, bigger and better things. Like, all of those lessons, all of those failed attempts, like, I don't look at those as failure. I look at those as, that's data. That's information of what not to do, or I can sit here and tell you these 7 things. And trust me, there's a lot more lessons in here, but these 7 here, I've lived them and I can share them with you and hopefully inspire you to understand that I hear the same stuff over and over from the people that are in my communities, from the people that I have one-to-one calls with. I've had over 1,000 one-to-one calls with people, and it's literally the same thing, right? That nobody believes in themselves. They don't think their idea is good. They don't know what idea to do. They have shiny object syndrome. They overthink everything, procrastination, like all the things. And I'm telling you that no one is alone in this. Distractions never go away. The voices in your head never go away. The fear never goes away. But you learn to move forward in spite of it. Like, it still happens to me, and it will happen to you. No matter how far along you get, there will always be the doubts. There will always be the fears. Like, I'm recording this video right now, and a couple of times throughout the video, while I'm recording it, I'm thinking to myself, is this good enough? Should I stop? Should I start it over? Right? Stumbling over my words. It's like, do I have to cut that part out? Those are the types of things that can literally paralyze you from ever starting. And one thing that I'll just leave you with, because I really think this is super important. This is kind of like a bonus lesson for those of you who you want to do like perfect work and you're just afraid of what people will think. And, well, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's like, you do not get to judge that. You are not the judge. Your audience is. The people that you help, they're the ones who are going to tell you whether or not your work is good. Now, it's not permission for you to half-ass it and do lazy work. I've put out a lot of content. I've done a lot of things, a lot of courses where I've said, you know what, I probably could have done that better. That wasn't a 10 out of 10. That wasn't even a 9 out of 10. And then I'll put it out and people will say, that literally changed my life. And I have a certain way that I feel about it. But the audience, the person who receives the information, they're the ones, their opinion matters. Again, not the people who you aren't helping. Don't look for business advice from people who are never going to start a business or who have never started one. And don't look for validation from people who aren't your audience. When I hear that, like that piece of content or that video that you shot changed my life. It's like, that's what I'm looking for. That's the validation. And you'll never get that if you don't launch your business. Take these 7 lessons, learn from me. You can do this. You can get out of your own way. And if you are stuck at step number 1, which is, what business do I even start? And the idea of using what you already know how to do appeals to you and you never thought about it before, download the Skill to Business formula. It's 100% free and it will help you. Thank you for watching. You can do this. Let's go.